Training for freediving can be very tough. You're training for, a CO2 tolerance and things like that, so it can feel very painful at times. When you don't allow your body to take that breath that it so desperately wants to, it kind of feels like you're killing yourself. Literally like you're killing yourself. The more you do that, the more you suffer through that pain, the easier the dives are. When I was younger, I picked up mono from school, like most kids do. I eventually had to get pulled out of school because I couldn't even attend school. Just trying to do simple things that I was used to doing would lay me out for days on end. I was finally diagnosed with an immune disorder. After being inactive, not athletic for so many years, just walking on a treadmill was really, really difficult. But just really slow progression over time, I started to be able to be more physically active without having any of those dramatic repercussions. I graduated in 2011 with my master's in architecture and started working with an architecture firm that was contracted by the military. As I took that job, it felt like I was selling myself out. So it was very difficult emotionally for me, knowing that I was not passionate about what I was doing. Freediving kind of saved me. It was the only thing that I had to look forward to in terms of like some sort of a passion, because obviously my job was not giving that to me. For years, I was just fantasizing about being able to do it professionally, but then there's the big question mark. How do you fund yourself? Other than opening up kind of the obvious doors of traveling and meeting all these other incredible people that also love this sport, I've had opportunities to work with GoPro. Say hi, Gary. I've gotten gigs as a model. So it's opened up a lot of doors for that kind of stuff, and I've met some really amazing people and been able to see some incredible things. Always wanted to freedive with tiger sharks. They were my favorite sharks growing up, but I didn't think it was possible. I just thought it was some crazy childhood dream. So yeah, I didn't know it was possible without getting eaten until much later. to do that was a dream come true. It wasn't until I went off to the University of South Florida that there was a program on the Discovery Channel, and I think it was with Tanya Streeter, and I saw her gear. She was swimming around with no tanks or anything and kind of doing something that I'd always wanted to do. She had these really long fins, she had a very strange looking wetsuit, and a little light bulb went off, and I was like, this is a specific sport. I don't know, it was just always something that I'd wanted to do. So when I'd seen that it was actually a sport, it was like, I'm dropping everything, I'll spend whatever money I have to, I'm doing this. Well, I didn't know it was a possibility of being a professional freediver. And it wasn't, I guess, until I saw other divers who were able to solely focus on, you know, the act of freediving, the act of competition, that I felt as though that is something that I would like to pursue.
Keep hooking! 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 Signal! Stay! Stay up!
My first competition happened in 2011, and it was amazing. Meeting all of the people, I was completely hooked after that. It was unbelievable. And I was, I think, like a 30-meter, 35-meter diver. And every year since then, I've been competing. In 2013, a couple people were encouraging me to apply for the women's team, and I was like, no. I'm not a deep diver. I'm, you know, down here compared to all these other people. But with all the encouragement and knowing that there was a need, I decided to apply just to see if I would make even alternate. But because so many other divers couldn't make it, I ended up being on the team. If I was going to pursue this in a real way, give myself the chances that my body needed to actually get deeper, I was going to have to take off much more time. And I realized it's not fair to the firm to be asking them for so much, but it's also not fair to me. That was a struggle for many years going on in my mind. Making that decision to leave was scary. When I realized architecture was, at least for the time, was kind of going on the back burner, and architecture was my number one priority, I started to think more, you know, maybe I could start my own business, and what would that be? And I remembered the jewelry. This is my jewelry. Hey. Throughout high school and everything and college, I was kind of making my own pieces whenever I could. These, I think, are my favorite. They really grew on me in Italy because they remind me now they remind me of the rocks that were there. It was my hope that by launching a jewelry business, I would be able to make enough money to continue to freedive without having to work. So the last competition I did was the Team World Championships. It was in Kalamata, Greece, and I was on the U.S. national freediving team. My goals going into that was to just do better than I did the last time, and I was able to do that. In terms of depth, I was able to go quite a bit deeper.
So today was the first day of the Team World Championships, and we did constant weight dives, and I announced 65, and I made my dive.
I think taking a break from architecture and in order to, pursue this goal of freediving more consistently, spending more time with it, it was absolutely the right decision for right now, absolutely. For a long time, I didn't realize how far I had come, honestly. To me, my life was just my life and it was normal. It wasn't until recently that I realized how much progress I had made. And it's I would have never expected to be where I am today as a child. Like when I was sick and could barely do anything, I could barely keep up with school, I definitely couldn't keep up with my friends. If you would have told me that I'd be a professional athlete later on in life, I would have laughed at you and been like, ha, that's a good joke. But with literally decades of just working at being able to be physically active again, it's brought me a really, really long way, and I'm really happy.